Youth Guidance is our ministry to young people who are incarcerated or in life need situations. The young people we meet in the juvenile detention institutions here in Central Ohio. Currently, we're the chaplains in the Franklin County Juvenile Detention Center and also down in Fairfield County, which serves a 5-county area. In these two ministries, we touch life on life, approximately 2,000 young people every year that are flowing through those facilities in significant life crisis. And our staff do a wonderful job of patiently sitting, listening, serving, and ministering to those young people in those institutions.
My name is Conrad and I met Mike Taylor while I was in the detention center in Columbus. Originally, I used to live in Chicago and I was involved in a street gang there, and at the age of 14 things had kind of culminated to this point where I committed an armed robbery there. I robbed a gas station and shot at the attendant, and I got caught and spent nearly 2 years in a facility in Illinois. I moved to Columbus, Ohio, where my parents thought I wouldn't have any trouble, that there wouldn't be any gangs or anything like that for me to get in trouble with. I ended up in the detention center because I committed an aggravated assault. I shot at 2 students at a local high school in their parking lot. While I was in the detention center, I met chaplain Mike Taylor, and he was talking to me about God, and at the time I guess I was a little bit resistant at first because I felt like I couldn't really trust anyone. And so as him and I built a relationship, I started to trust him more and asked him more questions about God. And he proposed the idea of Christ dying on my behalf, and I just felt like, I don't know, I'm not sure about this, I'm pretty skeptical, I need evidence. And so he gave me this book that I read, and it answered most of my questions. It was a Christian apologetics book, and so subsequent to reading that, I felt like this is something that I could possibly believe in. Well, after I spent about 1.5 years for my crime, I got out of TICO, and the chaplain Mike Taylor gave me a call after I got out while I was on parole, and by that time Christianity had kind of faded in the background, and so he invited me to come out to this campus Bible study, and I said I would go at the time because I really had nothing else to do. Well, I felt like at first that I was going to be shunned and that people weren't going to accept me. I had a lot of fear about that, and that people wouldn't be able to relate to my experience. And what I found was that people didn't try to pretend that they understood where I was coming from. Rather, they showed me empathy, and they showed me compassion, and really accepted me into their group. And I think that was one of the real big draws in me really getting involved in the church, because I just always sensed that even when I was younger, that my life had to mean something more than just my own personal pursuits, that I had to, be a part of something much bigger than myself. And I felt like within the context of the community and the church, these people accepted me, and that we were moving towards a common cause of reaching other people for Christ. I think there are parallels between the draw in being in a gang and enjoying Christian fellowship. I know that my personal experience was that as someone who was a part of a gang, I felt a sense of security because I felt like the people that I was involved with was in some ways my family. They cared about me, they would do anything for me, they were loyal to me, they'd protect me, and I felt like, ultimately speaking, we had a common cause. But at some point I became disillusioned with the cause itself, and so I realized all of this means nothing without that. And so I think that coming here in the context of Christian community, I have all those same things, and to a much deeper level, where I feel like people are actually concerned with not only what I'm doing for them, but also too concerned about me personally. Ultimately speaking too, I know that the cause is really significant, that what we're doing here really makes a difference, whereas being in the gang, the cause made no difference, and that it was really a facade for just being able to get together and pretending like there was a cause. A lot lot of people coming out of jail or out of these kind of backgrounds, they have nothing to lose. And I think that that's one of the greatest qualities that these people have. Whereas people who are maybe coming out of a background that's less tainted have outs. They see their life as primarily going after their pursuit, and God is kind of a side note. Whereas a lot of these kids coming out of these detention facilities or these backgrounds look around themselves, look around their lives, and realize they have nothing else. Getting them hooked up in the local church, getting them hooked up with a mentor, and surrounding this person with people who really believe in him or her is probably the three things that I would pick to really help these kids out. I think that you have to deal with the problems such as drugs or drinking or even education. I think those things are necessary. But I think ultimately speaking, when you're helping someone out who has this kind of background, you can never lose sight of the fact that this is the thing that's going to transform their lives, that they start investing into ministry. Because a lot of kids coming from that background have innate charisma, especially if they're good at criminal activities. You know, they have organizational abilities, they have the ability to persuade, they have leadership giftings oftentimes. And so I don't think that people should underestimate the awesome potential that a lot of these people have. I think it's just a matter of equipping these kids and putting up with a lot of problems that they have that is really going to help show them that, you know, living their life for Christ is more fulfilling than their life on the streets. Now, it's difficult to say what the future holds for me. I'm going to graduate from college here at OSU this quarter, actually. Beyond that, I really don't know what I'm going to do with myself. One of the things that I really want to do is teach the Bible and, ultimately speaking, reproduce myself through discipleship. That is the thing that I feel like I want most, and nothing else really matters. That I can give myself over to another brother, raise him up to become a leader, and if I can continue to do that throughout my life, then I feel like I could die and everything will be okay, because I would have fulfilled the commission.